Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the counselor's office. I'm Mr. Game Counselor, and we are back with another episode of the Counselor Reacts. Today, we're going to talk about the drama around Stellar Blade's new censorship controversy. Isn't it? It's crazy. I thought we were done with Stellar Blade. Like, I knew there was drama, and then there was like supposedly this whole thing about a hard R. Apparently it was like graffiti that said har and then a neon light that said R, which I'm just gonna give my 2 cents. This is a Korean game. People in Asia are not inherently racist in the way that Western people are. Like, not everyone knows what hard R means. Like, if you're offended by hard R, not even the word itself, but the word har and an R, you have issues. I'm just going to say that out right there. You have issues. There are bigger fish to fry. There are more inherent racist things happening in the world that we should be calling out. But getting offended by hard R, not the word hard, like not the actual word that's a hard R word, but just the word hard and then an R. It's so freaking stupid. I just had to put that out there before we talked about the main thing. But that was just, I saw that on Twitter and I was like, this is why people don't like Western countries, because we're idiots. Stellar Blade. People, boys, men upset because they can't see titties. Gotta see them titties. Listen, I've lived out in the countryside. I lived with the boys, right, in high school. That's all that they could talk about was them titties. And the men were all about, I gotta have beer and titties. I gotta have beer in one hand and titty in another, right? That was what it was like living out in the countryside. People like boobs. Women love boobs too. Like, let's not act like it's just a men thing. And we'll get to that in a minute. But apparently, with a patch that came out, updated, it changed a bunch of outfits. And there's some comparisons, right? We see some cleavage. Now we see no cleavage. Like, it's a lace cover up. I'm gonna say my opinion, and then I'll give like the general consensus, right? So my opinion, and I've said it before, I don't care if the character is hot or ugly. If the game is fun, that's really all that matters to me. That really is. Like, if it's a game is fun, then that's all that should matter. Fun game equals good game. And that's the bottom dollar. And listen, this is coming from a guy who's never been to a Hooters. And if you're not from America, Hooters is just like this restaurant you'd go and it'd be hot girls with big boobs, booty pants. Like, it's very obvious what they're trying to do, hence the name Hooters. Yeah, that's all. I've never been there, right? And I don't care to. I've never been to a strip bar, right? I've never seen anyone strip in front of me, like dancing on the pole. None of that. I have no desire to do that. Now, if you do, if you're that kind of person, more power to you. That is your choice. It is your life. My choice does not impact you whatsoever. The point is, I'm not the audience. And so, obviously, we have a sexy Asian modeled character. And people play the game because they like seeing sexy. Is that inherently wrong? No. There's nothing wrong with wanting to see hot, sexy ladies. That's what people want. And that's the audience that it should be for. People who want the hot, sexy ladies. And people are out there like, oh my God, they're upset because they can't see boobs on a video game. Listen, I may not get it, and you may not get it, but some of the people are out there not understanding that even women get into this kind of stuff. Yeah, let's not act like Magic Mike isn't a thing, and that young to older to middle age women aren't foaming at the mouth at Channing Tatum's abs. Like, let's not act like people aren't getting all hot and bothered by media already. So if nerds want to get hot and bothered by a pixel game, then let them, because it's no different than anyone else who watches media or TV or anything like that. Hell, even porn. right? Let's just be honest. This is just their form of entertainment, and that they enjoy. And more power to you. But the real underlining issue that I'm seeing outside of that is it's not the censorship, as this person says. It's that we're supposed to make a point and it's filmed miserably. What's the point? What were they talking about? Well, before it was released, they made it a point to say that we are not censoring in any country. That's what they said. Stellar Blade, I think it's Shift Up is the company. We're not going to change anything. It is what it is. And then it comes out and people noticed. It's been censored. And it's not just the sexy boobs, right? It's not the sexy boobs. It is also the fact that they censored gore. Like previously, you'd kill something and you'd be covered in blood, and now you're not covered in anything. Again, people play games not for realism necessarily, but just for escapism. They want to have this futuristic, they want to have this crazy story, whatever they're going for. They play games to escape real life. And so if people want to get bloody and just go on this rampage with this hot Asian chick, then let them. That's what they want to do. That's their fantasy. That's their desire. Let them, right? If you're not the audience, just like I'm not the audience for Magic Mike, then obviously you're not going to consume that entertainment. And that's the thing. Like, not everything has to be based on what you want. And that's the argument that's being made, is they're censoring this to make other people who would probably never play the game anyways happy. And most people are assuming it's Sony, which is ironic because Sony is also the same company that allowed the Last of Us 2 sex scene where it's this muscular man-woman who's getting manhandled by a dude in the back like she's a dog. It's really just crazy how they choose to censor things and what they decide to allow in different games. Now, to the defense of the developer, like Final Fantasy VII had Tifa in bikini, we also have Hot Eve in bikini with real jiggle physics. Yep. Listen, this game knows its audience, and that at the end of the day, that's what matters. That's what matters. It's knowing your audience and going full sending. And yes, could you still get this costume? Is it not censored? Absolutely. But for some people, it is just the promise. Just like I covered the video about Tarkov. It's the promise of something and then going backwards on it. And I can respect that. If that's truly the struggle and the point is you said one thing and then you've done another, that's stupid. Because here's the real reality of it. Here's the reality of this, guys. Could we argue and say it's really stupid that we're not seeing a little bit of cleavage because we're covering certain costumes now? Yes, we could argue. Yeah, it's kind of like, is this really a big deal? In the grand scheme of life, absolutely not. It's not a big deal. But if it wasn't a deal in the first place, then why would they change it? Exactly. You're right, it's not a big deal, but why would the company itself, Shift Up, alter the designs in the first place? Why release a patch, day one patch that changes several costumes if it's not a deal? It may not be a big deal, but it was big enough a deal that the company had to do a day one patch to ensure that Western audiences did not see cleavage. I'm just saying. I'm on the Stellar Stands side. Not because of boobs. If you care about boobs, you still got boobs, right? You got your jiggle physics. It's right there. All in two glories for you. But the bottom dollar is a company gives you a promise that they're going to do something and then they don't do something. That's pretty scummy, right? You were told one thing and then they do another. I'm more upset that they censor gore. Like, how many bloody games are there that are rated mature? and there's blood and guts and everything. Like, have we not seen Dead Space? Like, Dead Space is so bloody and gory, and it's very successful. It's crazy that we nitpick what we're censoring, and it makes no sense to me. I'm more upset about that, besides Miss Jiggle over here being censored. Like, that's me personally. Again, I'm not a Stellar stan. I do want to play it. I think it looks fun to play. In gameplay alone, it looks amazing. But are people over dramatizing it? I think to a certain extent, yes. The general look of the character is being over dramatized on every front, right? People are like, oh, you're over sexualizing a doll, or oh, I can't see nipple. Like, let's be honest. When this thing hits PC, or even maybe not PC, there's going to be dedicated people out there for PlayStation, but I guarantee you, day one PC, there's going to be, where there's a will, as I say, there's a will, there's always free the nipple mods ready to go, right? Where there's a will, there's always free thy nipple mods waiting to be released. Don't believe me? There's already Resident Evil mods that people are like, please don't do that. And then, you know, there's also Tifa mods on Final Fantasy VII. Where there's a will, there's always a free thy nipple mod. And I'm sure there's also free thy willy mod out there as well. Because if gamers want to see nipple, they're going to see nipple. One way or another, they want to see that nipple, they're going to see it. And you know what? That's their choice. Let them see nipples. If they're the audience, free thy nipple. At this point, I'm just kind of, I'm playing around, but I do see the seriousness in, you know, a game telling you one thing and saying, yeah, we're going to change things for people who won't play our game. And I think that's always a bad decision to do, is try to cater to people and gamers who aren't going to play your game. Journalists who don't care about your game, who want to see it fail, you should not cater to those people. That's the bottom dollar. We can all agree on that. You should never try to cater to someone who isn't your audience, because if you do that, you are earning the people who do care about your game. That's me. I hate this whole, like, a game for all is a game for who? Who's the game for? Game for you. But then is it a real game at that point? It's just it's life. You make a game for everyone, then it's just that life. You're making life, and no one wants to play the game of life unless it's the board game. But outside of that, no one wants to play life. I don't want to play a digital version of life. I want to play a fictional game that's catered to me. Again, I'm not crazy about this. It's not my thing. But if it is your thing, then enjoy all two of them. Anyways, I'm trying to be serious, but I do appreciate you guys. Short video, but this is kind of like, I think, the conclusion maybe, unless they change things. But even if they do change things, good. But I think I'm done reporting on Stellar Blade, unless I actually play it, and then I might report like, hey, it was a good game. But outside of this, I think this is probably the last of the controversies we should see, hopefully. Really, like, I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. I do think eventually I will play it for myself. Not for the jiggle physics, but just for the actual gameplay itself, because it looks really good. Like, the combat looks fun. The story might be good. I don't know. The demo didn't do the story justice, in my opinion. So let me know down below if you think the story's good and worth it. I'd be interested. As always, I'm Mr. Gaming Counselor. Until next time, don't forget to be the best version of yourself and jiggle away. You know I'm going to keep making jokes, right? Yeah. So jiggle.